So, hello, my name is Padilla Rayupi and we are doing an interview about study habits and academic performance. This interview will take about 4.5 minutes and will be recorded audio and video. Your answer will be confidential and used only for this research. Do you consent to participate and be recorded?
Yes po.
Okay. So, please state your name or initials, age, your year level, and section po.
My name is Nigisiga Murat. I just turned 16 years old. I am grade 11 from section Nvidia.
Okay. Can you describe your typical study routine during a normal school week?
In a normal school week, I rest for about 3 hours and then that's when I start doing my work or reviewing for quizzes, exams, BST, etc.
When do you study? How long each sessions and where do you usually study?
I usually study inside my room. I lock myself up in my room and it takes for about 5 hours, at least 5 hours, and then I usually start when the clock hits 5 p.m.
Alright. So, what specific study techniques do you usually use? For example, summarizing, flashcards, group study, watching review videos. Please explain how you use them.
The most common study technique that is known in TikTok, especially, I use Feynman technique. It is effective for me, and I use it by setting up a recorder, like my camera. I set up my camera and then film myself while explaining the topic.
Okay. So, which technique do you find most helpful and why?
Probably the Feynman technique po. Kasi I believe that when you speak the words, you can remember it effectively.
Okay. How many hours per week do you usually spend reviewing or preparing for your major subjects?
This is actually depende. It is depende siya kasi if I'm reviewing for BST, it just usually takes up for about like for 5 hours probably, and then when it's exam week, it takes me like more than 10 hours.
So, is this time spread evenly across subjects or concentrated on certain ones?
Yes, my reviewing is it is it is spread in across subject.
Okay. So, what are the main challenges or barriers that make it hard for you to study effectively?
I'm the type of person to be easily distracted with noise, and yeah, probably the major barriers for me is being distracted easily, connections, especially when it's raining, and noises.
Alright, so, okay. So, is there anything else about your study habits or school performance that you would like to add?
Yes. I would just like to add this specific app that I use. It is the Gizmo app. This app can help students like me review for exam effectively.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your time and for sharing your experience. That concludes the interview. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Jerwin. Thank you for agreeing to participate in this interview. My name is Jamaica and I am conducting a study on the impact of study habits on the academic performance of grade 11 student at GFA Senior High School. Your insights will be valuable in helping us understand how different study habits affect students' learning, experience, and outcomes. And now we're going to the flow of our interview. The first one is warm up. Start with general questions to ease the participant into the interview. The second one is core questions. Focus on the main research questions about study habits and academic performance. The third one is proving questions. Ask for specific example or details to gain deeper insight. The last one is closing. Wrap up the interview with questions about strategies and advice for improving study habits. And now we're going to the question of our interview. Let's begin with warm up. How do you usually prepare for your classes each day?
For me, I usually prepare myself by keeping up my good hygiene, eating, and doing a short exercise.
And now, the second one, score. What makes it hard to keep up with your studies and how does this affect your grades?
When I forget some of the lectures that my teachers taught us, this negatively affect my grades because this bad habit is really bad.
Now, let's proceed to the third one question. Prove. Can you think of a time when your study habits really helped or hurt your performance in school? What did you learn from that?
One of the time that my study habit really helped me is when every time that I accomplish some of my assignments, I give myself a short reward, such as foods or drinks. This helped me keep up the growth of my performance. And I learned that you should not abuse yourself because you should instead care for yourself.
Now, let's proceed to the last questions. Just the closing. What's one thing that really helps you study better and improve your grades at GFA?
One of the things that really helped me study better and improve my grades even further is simply just by focusing and self-care.
Thank you for time and your answer. Your help is appreciated for me research. Again, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Ross Christine Gill from 11 Nvidia, Group 2, and I will be your interviewer for today. Our topic is the impact of study habits to grade 11 junior high school students on their academic performance. This meeting is being recorded, and we kindly ask you to please open your camera. The interview will only last for 5 minutes. And to begin our interview, please introduce yourself including your grade level and section.
Hi, I am Althea Marica Bakang. I am from 11 Nvidia and I am a HUME student.
Okay, for our questions, warm up first. As a student, do you prefer to study alone or with your friends, classmates? Why?
I prefer to study alone because I find it quite distracting when I'm with somebody, so I just study alone.
Okay, thank you very much. For our second question, what study habits that help you improve your academic performance well?
I think when I like getting pressured, so I tend to open my notes when it's already time to time for summative test. For example, there's like 10 minutes before summative test, so that's when I am gonna open my notes and start studying. But sometimes when I'm motivated, I study a day before the exam.
Okay, thank you very much. For our next question, can you share a moment when you change your study habits to improve your academic performance? Can you tell us what's the result?
Yeah, like I said before earlier, sometimes when I'm really motivated, I try to study the day before the exam. And when that happens, I don't think there's really a change. I think that when I study 10 minutes before the exam, that's when my grades, my the results comes better than me studying the day the exam, before the day of the exam.
Okay, thank you very much. For our closing, if you will give an advice to the students who wants to change their study habits, what would it be?
Um, it will be you should know what's your preferred study habit so you can uh, examine the whole the whole subject. Because if you don't know your study habits, if you don't know what kind of learning technique that you need to use in order to consume that knowledge, you'll be having a hard time. So my tip is to find your study habit that aligns with your uh, processing well. And yeah, you should also try various type of study habits, and what aligns with the most, what you align with it the most, that's where you pick it.
Okay, thank you very much for your cooperation. So, your participation will only stay with our uh, research teacher and for our group members only. And thank you for cooperating and participating in this interview. So, thank you so much, Althea Kabakang.
Good day. Thank you for joining this interview. I am Valerie Solon and I'll be asking you a few questions about study habits and their impact on academic performance. This interview will only take a few minutes. Before we start, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Great. To begin, can you please introduce yourself first?
Hi, I am Salazar Elosin Anili, a grade 11 STEM student from Golden Faith Academy.
Okay, to start with, my first question is, can you describe your usual study habits or routine?
What I usually do when studying is read notes, sometimes to a reviewer, and also listen to music to keep me from falling asleep. I take my time, especially when I have an exam.
And how do your study habits affect your performance in school?
My study habits have a big impact on my performance. When my schedule is good and I am consistent, my score is high. But when I am lazy and study at the last minute, my results are low.
And what difficulties do you face in maintaining effective study habits?
It is hard to focus sometimes because I have a cell phone and it is noisy around me. I also have a hard time creating a routine, especially when I have a lot of work to do in other subjects.
Can you share a specific experience where your study habits directly influence your grade or performance, positively or negatively?
I once studied early for a math exam. I did a reviewer and practice problems, so I scored high. But in one subject, I just crammed the night before the exam, so I failed.
And for the last question is, what changes in your study habits do you think would help improve your academic performance?
If I were to change my study habits, I would try to set aside time every day and not just do it last minute. I think it would be more helpful if I made studying consistent so my performance would improve.
Thank you so much for sharing your answer. That would be all of my question.